Welcome everyone. Raul Luna here from Level Up Now Academy. Welcome to this episode. Today, I'm going to be covering, the most frequent question that I get asked, especially on this changing market. Wherever I am and there's real estate investors and real estate agents, most of the time I'm being asked, Raul, how do you plan to do it in your real estate investing company to pretty much weather it out in the changing markets, right? On the transitioning markets, on the softening of the market. And it's very, very interesting to hear that, because I know that there's a lot of media being covered on the next recession or the next slowdown, or that builder sentiment are not there, that the stock market is tumbling. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty on the market, and it's very interesting because the answer to me is very, very simple. But before I give you the answer, I want you to give it some thought. What would you do on a changing market? And better yet, do you know that it's really the market maybe not changing, is probably people's sentiment about what's happening on the market? Now, there's always going to be change all the time. Either the change is a change in an upward movement, a change in a downward movement, or a stagnant sort of like up and down change, up and down like a roller coaster type of thing, but with a constant sort of like a stagnant aspect, but it's really not even stagnant. There's a change. So you got to learn how to adapt to change. And there's two things that I would do, and you could do it as well. Number one, make sure that you're buying right. Make sure that you're sticking to your numbers. And what I mean by that is everybody's criteria is different, because on the buy and flip, in the normal traditional just regular buy and flip, you may have an 80% of the after repaired value, minus the repairs. That may be your criteria. That may be your formula. Your criteria may be 3 bedrooms, 2 bath on a medium neighborhood where you don't want to go X amount of no more than 400,000 in some neighborhoods, or $1 million in some other neighborhoods, depending on where is your area. So the best way I can share how I'm going to do it in my area specifically is basically 3 ways. Number one, I must buy right. I must make sure that I'm not overpaying for things, that I stick to my criteria, to what I know, because when you buy right, you have room for mistakes. You got room for for the construction to go above and yet still come ahead. You got room for the market to correct and still come ahead. So that's number one, buying right. Make sure, because I've seen a lot of investors and real estate agents that, because the market was going high and high and high, they were, some of them are being caught because they thought that, if I overpay for it, it's okay, because, I'm going to be able to recoup it since the market is going up. And that's a dangerous thing to do, especially if you're trying to time the market. The second thing is you may want to start doing more assignments or wholesaling. If you don't know what wholesaling is when you're, basically, when you're putting a property under contract and you have the rights of that contract to be assigned. In other words, you're making sure that you're putting, whatever name you're buying it could be either your personal name or your LLC name or your company name, and then towards the end you put and/or assigns. That's obviously one way to do it, but basically that will give you the ability to be able to assign the contract. And when you have an assignable contract, well, now you can wholesale that contract to another investor, and in that case, that will will put you in a position where you are not you're not taking the entire market risk, per se. So that's the second way. And then the third way is you got to be measuring what I measure, which is the active to pending ratio. And I learned this from one of the masterminds that we do, from a very good friend, Mr. Joe Metz, that he first introduced me to that. And it's crucially important because you need to know what's happening in your specific market. What is going on? How many actives in the market that you're investing are coming up on a 24-hour basis? And how many of those actives are going pending? Because that's going to give you what the trend is. Right now, at this specific time that I'm doing this video, which is in December, it's interesting to see that pending are actually on the rise and actives are on a downward movement. It could well be because of the holidays. It could well be because of many factors. But I think it's healthy. It's important to understand that. And when you measure certain metrics, it's crucially and it's very important, because it'll give you an idea of what the market is doing. What is the sentiment of the market? So those are the three things that I would do. I really, truly hope that you use, these videos for you to learn and to put it into practice. And you know what? Make it big in your real estate career. So I'm happy for you. Go ahead and make it huge. Crush it as I'm getting here to my office so that I can crush it with my team as well. All right? Congratulations for being here on the Level Up Now Academy channel on this episode. Thank you.